the heart and soul behind every business. Stories. Welcome to Business Story of the Week, hosted by me, Joshua Laurie. From setbacks to comebacks, from tragedies to triumphs, we inspire entrepreneurs through conversations that matter. Witness the magic that turns dreams into reality. Whether it's your career, business, or life, your success is always one story away. This is Business Story of the Week.
Hi, this is Christy All, and this is Business Story of the Week.
Fantastic. And that is the lovely, bright, colorful Christy. She will be joining us today. She is our guest. And of course, I'm Joshua. I'm your host. Every week, every day, every episode, we kick it off with a question. And today's question is intuition the ultimate business secret weapon? Well, Christy is the perfect guest to answer that question today. Christy All is an internationally known intuition development coach, psychic medium, healer, and author of the #1 international bestseller, The Confidence of Yes: How to Harness the Energy of Opportunity and of Breaking Free from Probation Officer to the other book rather, sorry, is of Breaking Free from Probation Officer to Psychic Medium. There we go. Okay.
Yes.
Christy has undeniable visions for every one of her clients and encounters support as she learns to heal. She gives them support to heal deep wounds, to access your intuition, build confidence, and receive clear information from the divine. And today, Christy's going to share that with us. She's going to help us access our intuition for today and tell us a story and her insights. Christy, thank you for joining us on the show today. How are you doing?
Welcome. You're very welcome. Thank you. I'm doing fantastic. And
Christy, I love it. Of course, I'm quite excited about our topic, but before we really delve into it, I always start from the origins. Where did this all begin? In fact, what was the young Christy all like? Was the young Christy very intuitive? Did she ever imagine it would be central to her career? The young Christy ever imagine intuition would be central to her career?
honestly, no. My gifts began very early. I was about 6 years old, and I began to see spirit people at the end of my bed. And I was, of course, being so young, terrified, thought I was having nightmares. Who are these creepy men standing at the end of my bed? And so at that point, my parents were very much, it's just a bad dream. It's your imagination. I got that a lot because being an only child, I was alone a lot. I was a latchkey kid. And so, yes, it was all about imagination. So I didn't get the opportunity at that young age to have guidance or a mentor. And
Interesting.
so I was just a inspired, imaginative, if you will, young kid.
You were basically guided by your imagination.
Yes.
You were guided by your intuition, so to speak. Christy, what was a turning point where you took this natural, let's call it a gift, right? This natural gift of yours. And when did you realize that, you know, intuition was going to be a path or a message that you were going to share? What was a pivotal moment in your life where you said, like, okay, I'm gonna help people do this, and I'm gonna be, I'm gonna be the medium for them to reach their potential, so to speak.
I actually began that at still a very young age. I was in my late teens and I had picked up my first Oracle deck and immediately was saying things that I didn't know where they were coming from. I just thought, well, this is strange. And then my friend asked me a question like, oh, that was really interesting. Can you tell me more about XYZ in this cards? And I thought, no, I can't because it didn't come from me, right? It came
Okay.
through me, but it didn't come
Interesting.
from me. So even so young, I didn't recall what I had said. And that still holds true today, oftentimes when I'm doing one on one sessions with clients who are looking for readings, it still comes through me. And so there are highlights oftentimes that I do remember, but that's usually because that part of the information also relates to me. And spirit's like, you need to pay attention.
That's the
So
thing. And how do you even pay attention, right? And how do you begin to embrace that? And I feel like this is what you teach to the clients that you consult with, the organizations, the teams, the individuals that you help. Of course, one of your books earlier that we mentioned was Breaking Free from Probation Officer to Psychic Medium. Talk to us a bit about that transition, or did they overlap at all? How did those two worlds collide? And how did your experience from that? What do you take from that experience that you carry until today?
absolutely, I would say biggest experience that I take away from that profession. I do have a Bachelor of Science in criminal justice, and I specialize in criminal investigations. Desire is asking questions, receiving the evidence. Just joke with my colleagues and say I'm probably the biggest psychic medium you'll ever meet because I have the evidence and I love to deliver that for my clients, teach them how to do really small exercises where they can
Right.
receive their own
Ah,
validation and
okay,
their own
okay.
evidence in an easy way so that then they build that trust within themselves to follow that direction.
Wow, now
And
you got me really interested, Christy. You talk about following their trust, trusting their own intuition. You talk about those methods. Sorry for cutting you off there, but
that's
we need to
okay.
talk about those small methods. What would be those methods, and what was the thought that you wanted to complete?
Yes. So those methods are start very simply at in the beginning, and that is to pose a question to yourself or to spirit, your guides, whomever may be listening that may be on your spirit team. An easy one that I tell my clients is when you leave today from wherever you are and you're headed home, let's say, and, usually most of us have the way that we go to and from work
Like,
or to and from home. Yeah, we
okay,
have our route, right? We
yes,
know which turn to take, what signals, where the bumps are in the road. But before you leave that parking lot, knowing you usually take a certain route,
yes,
ask yourself, should I go left or right? And then listen.
okay,
Listen. Are you hearing or are you getting a nudge? Do you feel something maybe in
interesting.
your right hand or your left hand? Or are you automatically turning on your signal to go right, knowing full well your normal route is left? But then trusting that, going that direction anyway, and then getting home and then doing a little bit of legwork. Okay,
Yes,
I followed it. I didn't see anything obvious. I don't know. It was a coincidence. Maybe, but check your normal route. Go to those news channel websites, those traffic websites. Was there an accident on your normal route? Was there a traffic delay, construction? So, those are easy ways you can go back and check to see if truly there was a reason that you were guided to go a particular direction. And it's that evidence and that muscle that you're learning to flex. Mm-hmm.
you have
Yep.
to
In
constantly
order to get the
flex.
information. Yep.
Like any other muscle, like gratitude, focus. See, these may not be tangible muscles, but they're inside all of us. They're internal muscles that we need to practice. We need to get better at it. And listening, I think, is the key word there. Listening
Yes.
constantly and trusting your intuition that there's always something there. There's a voice trying to talk to you, but most oftentimes we don't listen to it.
Mm-mm.
Why do you think that is? And if it's, I feel like a lot of it's because of self doubt. And
Yes.
Christy, do you help individuals overcome self doubt so they can allow themselves to listen a little bit more to their intuition?
One of the other modalities that I like to actually do with my clients is meditate, because when we meditate, we quiet the body. We don't attach to the thoughts that are happening. A lot of people will say, "Oh, quiet your mind." That would be lovely. But I don't know about you. My mind is just all over.
Mhm, mhm.
And so by meditating and quieting the body, no distractions, and just allowing whatever thoughts, voices come up, allow them to speak. But the way to differentiate them is, am I listening to old programming, parents, family connections? Maybe there's thoughts in there that were theirs based on their experiences,
Yes,
but
yes.
because you were raised by them, you have adopted them yourself. So you will hear those typically in your own voice if they're fully integrated. If they're not, then you may hear your mom, your dad, your grandmother's voice instead. That will be their guidance for you.
Love that.
There's Yeah, and then we have our egoic voice. I always say that's like our inner mean person who is super bossy, hypercritical, loves to talk you out of things. That voice is another that will come up while you're meditating.
Okay, okay.
Typically, it would say something like, "You can't do this. 5 minutes is too long. This is ridiculous. I'm
Mhm.
bored. I have laundry to do."
Exactly. I mean, like meditating is always like it's almost it's too underrated.
Yes.
Many of us should be meditating more often. It should be more of a more accepted concept, so to speak, to meditate. But mostly what you also mentioned there is our programming. What we were raised with. We tend to that tends to hold us back. And I think the only way to kind of go through that is to really just practice, to get to overcome what we were programmed growing up. And Christy, I understand that, of course, when it comes to self doubt being a roadblock, where does intuition come in so we could break through this roadblock? But more importantly, often does it happen? Like with everyone that you've helped, everyone that you've coached, everyone, is self-doubt always there? How does intuition
Always.
help? But also, more than self-doubt, what would be another common roadblock that is always present, that is always holding everyone back?
Yes. So self-doubt and self-worth. That
Of
is
course.
the top two that I run into
Yes.
all the
Yes.
time.
Yes.
People still have this undeniable drive about them, which I love and is fantastic. But that undeniable drive is usually connected to self-esteem. Well, I learned from reading a wonderful book that I can give you the name of later, but it is not that we are not worthy. It's that we've been trained to have to earn everything, right? We earn our higher paying job. I got to get this certificate. I
Yes. Yes.
need that PhD. I need that master's. And my worth, allegedly, is hooked to those achievements, but it's not. No, just by being born in this physical body, we are worthy of abundance and love and happiness and joy and excitement. And that doesn't have to be earned. And I think a lot of us get stuck in that, away from that.
Love that. And of course, I love that you touched up on self-worth because, like you said, it's almost like we have to earn it. It's almost like we have to feel like we're worthy, like we need that validation. Only then can we feel like we're worthy. But of course, we're always worthy. And I think that's
Yes.
where intuition comes from as well.
Yes.
It's like your intuition is telling you that you are worthy, but because we don't listen to it enough, it's holding us back. Now, when it comes to business now, Christy, where does intuition really, really help when it comes to business aspect? Of course, it starts with individually, right? We start learning, we start listening to our intuition a lot bit more, and we start practicing that, we start flexing that muscle, and now we start applying that into business. How do we turn intuition into the ultimate business secret weapon?
Yes. That is the amazing thing. It starts with the individual. So if you have someone who is a business owner that has employees, or let's say even management that has a team underneath them, and they're doing the practice and they're
Yes,
meditating and they're feeling and experiencing and listening, the best kept secret is allowing your team, your employees to discover their own intuition and their way of connecting to those gut feelings and trusting those gut feelings, right? We lead by example. So if your team and your employees notice, hey, you didn't really take a whole lot of time to just make that decision. What's up? No, I trust my intuition. I trust what I feel, I see. And I'd love, and you can lead the conversation, say, and I'd love for that to be you as well. I'd love for you to be able, and maybe we had a little sign there.
all right, there you go.
I'd, lo- I'd love for you to be that as well and
Yes,
embody those things. So it's the best kept secret in that it can be a team building trust and acceptance of themselves and used in their everyday life to build their confidence so that it can be applied to those business decisions.
because you don't do it alone, especially
No,
business. You cannot do it
never.
alone. Absolutely not. And without, I think, intuition and without the connection, the intuition to connect to other people, how do you form a team? How do you, let alone form a business or a successful one at that with your partner, with your team? Because again, you don't do it alone. You need to connect with people. You need to be able to bring that out, the best out of them. But first, you have to bring the best out of yourself. Right.
Yes.
Christy, you talk about helping people unlock their internal GPS. You mentioned this a lot, of course.
Yeah.
In your experience, what's the most common wrong turn people make when trying to follow their internal GPS?
Yes. They give up too early.
Wow, I love it, especially in business. Gosh, I
Yes.
love that.
It's like, you're watching, you've invested your time, your money, your patience into creating this business, and it's a love and a passion. And so you're using all your tools, but it's like a little sprout. You see it just barely peeking up, right? And then you're like,
Yes.
oh, it's too slow. Nothing's happening. Oh my gosh. Even though you followed your intuition, it is that lack of patience, that
Yes.
lack of the follow through to see that flower completely bloom and come to fruition. So don't give up too early. Just,
Don't
yeah,
give.
allow yourself to experience it.
I
Yeah.
love that. Don't give up too early. Allow yourself to experience everything. But Christy, how do we not give up too early? What is that? Like, especially with business, right? Because the thing
Oh,
about
yeah.
business is you're going to always have problems. That's the thing. There's always going to be a problem to solve. Your your job as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, is to be constantly solving things, right? And that'll
Yes.
never go away. And that's what makes people quit. I think they think like, I don't want these problems anymore. There's too many problems, so maybe this business isn't working out. But when it comes to business, all you have to do is just stick with it. Stick with it.
Yes.
There's always going to be a mistake. Keep at it, and then eventually it'll keep happening. You'll find the success down the road. But Christy, how do we not quit, and how does intuition
Absolutely. It lends a great service to our businesses. It's like a touchstone, especially when we feel we're between a rock and a hard place when making a business decision. We can use, for example, hiring a team and going through the hiring process. And, you know, you're just beginning your journey on tapping into your intuition and trusting it. And you hire a couple of folks and but then happens again
right?
and again. And then you feel like, okay, maybe I'm just not meant to be a business owner. Maybe this isn't my niche. These aren't my people. We say all sorts of things, right? But if you are meditating, you will also be connecting to your higher self and what I like to call your spiritual team. And it is these individuals on the spiritual realm that I communicate with on a regular basis when I feel like I want to give up. When I'm like, I'm throwing in the towel. I've spent too much money, too much time, and too much energy. I'm
Already,
spent. Then you tap in, you do your meditation, and you ask yourself, is this really right for me? And most people who are already kind of on the fence about using their intuition you'll feel it here and you'll start to talk yourself out of continuing on in the business. But in this instance, you want to learn to listen to your body because maybe we hadn't gotten that far to develop your relationship with your spiritual team and you're still just learning to listen and feel, then you're going to want to feel your body. What is your yes? What is your
I
no
love that. I love
feel
that.
like? What does it feel like? I can tell you my no feels like, ugh. Your hunched shoulders, your abs are tight. You just kind of sulk and you're just like, no, this is a no. But a yes, you're open, you sit up straighter, you get excited and you're like,
Yes.
yeah, this is fantastic. Those responses are typically very genuine, especially when we're by ourselves. We're not impressing anyone. We're not trying to, you know, do something right. We're just trying to find it for ourselves. So if you can listen to your body, that is going to get you through I want to give up phase.
I love that. And of course, that's most often people talk about what is your why. I think this is the first time I heard someone say, what is your yes? What does that sound like? What is your no? What does that sound like? No isn't always wrong, right? It's like, it's just, no is like learning how to say no, basically. But at the same time, we don't really listen. That's the thing. And you've taught us so many instances now, and so many ways and opportunities, and how we can listen to ourselves a little bit more. Of course, Christy, the website is christyall.com, all with an AHL. Christy, where else can we learn more? Where else can we connect with you?
Absolutely. You can find me on Instagram under the same name. So Christy_all. Of course, if you live in Tucson, Arizona, you can find me in person. I do have a space here at Four of Wands in Tucson. So I'd love to see you.
Fantastic. And of course, to all our audience listeners out there, make sure to go connect with Christy. If these things resonate with you, if you love, you believe in intuition, totally, of course, resonates with me. I love it. And if this is something that resonated with you as well, go check out Christy. Go connect with her on all those socials, on Instagram. And Christy, I'm quite honored. Thank you for coming on the show.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. It was an absolute pleasure.
Fantastic. To all our audience and listeners out there, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Thank you for watching. We will see you on the next one. Bye bye.
All right, so here's the thing. We try to get a little bit better every day, but we can't do it without you. So if you like the video, make sure to like and subscribe below. And if you have any comments, just leave them in the space under.